What would an America dedicated to being instead of having be like? The United States prefers having to being. We have been duped by a materialistic definition of happiness, by a misunderstanding of freedom, by electing to dominate nature instead of trying to live in harmony with it. Our economic system thrives on unlimited production and unlimited consumption. The cult of exceptionalism grew up in America, in which we aggregated to ourselves the right of gods to determine the direction of the world. But our pill-popping culture soon discovered egotism and greed didn't lead to happiness. We stopped asking, what is good for man? And made the central question, do we have enough growth? More and more became the cry heard throughout the land. More, more. Having trumped being as the goal of our citizens. What is the path not taken by the United States? The path of being. Being is one, the whole of nature. Being, with a small b, is our participation in that whole. A country that focused on being would, from the very beginning of life, look to its unfoldment. Families and schools would be places not where empty buckets were filled with standards set from without, but where nature was unfolded from within. Instead of a mass one-size-fits-all educational system, there would be choice, individualization, the bringing forth of the potentials within, different potentials, the actualization of different personality types with their different psychologies, and facilitating their finding a fit in society where they could share their gifts, their unique potentials. There are certain philosophies where being trumps having. Taoism is one. The task for Americans, the pill poppers of the world, is to recover their inner selves. Taoism or Taoism can help to rediscover that path. It emphasizes not mastering the world, doing, but living in harmony with it, not through knowledge, information, form, but through formlessness, being, connecting with the force within, chi, naturalness, simplicity, spontaneity, is what has been lost in our striving for exceptionalism, conquering the world. The Taoist three treasures of compassion, moderation, and humility are what has been lost. America needs the gentle movements of a Gong master to recapture the flowing movements of nature, to get in tune with the flow of the universe. The sage seeks to come into harmony with the great Tao, which itself is accomplished by non-action. That's a quote. A parallel idea in systems thinking is the idea of triangling that shows how interfering, taking sides, obstructs two parties from reaching a mutually satisfying solution and working things out between themselves. This is a quote. To attain naturalness, one has to identify with the Tao. This involves freeing oneself from selfishness and desire and appreciating simplicity. End of quote. Christianity also has this notion of dying to the self. Whosoever seeks to preserve his life will lose it, but whosoever loses his life will keep it. What would our country be like if our citizens had this notion of being true to our original nature prior to the imprint of culture? Would we then be able to live more harmoniously as a country in the world? From Wikipedia. As the practical political side of Taoist philosophy, Arthur Waley translated them as abstention from aggressive war and capital punishment, absolute simplicity of living, and refusal to assert active authority. Imagine a world dedicated to the nurturing of the life force, chi, that permeates everything. A depressed person might be thought of as one in which chi is diminished. The question would be, what kind of facilitating environment might nourish it, reconnecting that person to the vital life force that is within him or her? Politically, as well as personally, all disharmony becomes a question of how to restore disrupted, blocked, or unbalanced chi movement in the person, the country, the political system. Affirmation, reconnecting with the natural flow that is inherent in the universe, would seem to be part of the answer. Practices such as Qigong help to restore the natural, peaceful state of mind.